Welcome to another Matt.Cook.Oregon video. I'm calling this one the photography video. I would like to share some of my experience of taking photos in the great outdoors. We will briefly cover my thoughts on 6 different photography topics. First thing, I would like to talk about camera settings, and we can do that at a place called Sharps Creek. You want to pick settings that minimize editing, which will give you the cleanest possible photo. Exposure or shutter speed is the time that your camera takes to shoot a photo. Longer shutter speeds will bring more light to a photo, but will also blur motion. ISO is a measurement for how sensitive your camera is to light. This should be avoided at all costs because it greatly decreases the quality of your photos. Aperture is how open your lens is. A lower number means bigger opening and more light. A higher number means less light and also a larger depth of field, leaving everything in focus. Here you can see the settings that were used on this photo and the editing process. It's important to find the right balance of these 3 settings to optimize your photos. Look what happens when we speed up the exposure time. The water is a lot more crisp and less flowy. Location is very important to keep your photos interesting. Not everyone can make it to certain places, so this can give you a big advantage in photography. The position of your camera can also make your photo from something really common to something really great. From this location, I was able to get fog, ocean, cliffs, and trees all in one shot. Other than small adjustments, the main edit was to raise the saturation of the water, which really made it stand out. Framing is to decide what is included in your shot and from what perspective. With framing, everything in your shot should be deliberate. There should be no wasted space. I like talking about framing because it's very important to video making as well. The right framing can really stand out from other similar photos. This is a good subject to get creative with. Framing can be used to tell a story. It doesn't always have to be the exact same framing. The rocks on the side serve as a background while you have the main subject in the middle. We can widen our framing with these natural surroundings to get more of a story. Alternatively, we can move the frame even closer to get a completely different story. Gear is a lot less important than photography skill, but at some point you do need certain items to get certain things. The most important camera accessory is the tripod. I think you should always be using a tripod if you have the option to. My camera is a Canon 70D, which is a decent mid-range camera. There's always a camera upgrade out there for you, but the question is, do you really need it? Here we are using a Canon standard zoom lens, 18 to 135mm, which can do close-up and zoom. I often take only one lens like this that covers everything because of limited room in my backpack. The list of photography gear is endless, and you'll need to decide what gear is really necessary for that trip. Your photo editing software is also important. Good photos should be shot in RAW format and then edited with a RAW photo editor. This gives you the best possible quality. Without a zoom lens and a tripod, this photo definitely would not have been possible. Editing is used to optimize your photo's quality, as well as fix some small mistakes and add some style to your photo. Night sky photos often come out too dark and usually require the most editing. The amount of editing should be minimized because it usually decreases the quality of your photo. An edit can make a photo look completely different, or simply be used to optimize the photo. In some situations you aren't able to get a perfect photo, so editing can really save you. In this edit, I start with a dark star photo and try to improve the lighting without lowering quality. Notice the exposure time is 25 seconds. That's 25 seconds to take a single picture. The ISO is also very high, which is really needed for star photos. With high ISO, star photos tend to be really grainy, so noise reduction can be used to lower that grain, but it has to only be used a small amount, otherwise the photo will get blurry. With editing, you want to play around with every option until you get the best image. Most of my edits tend to be realistic because I don't want to add something that wasn't actually there. You can put all these topics together to form your own photography style. There is no right or wrong, it is all your own style. Realism is a big part of my style as I like to document real things. I also like a lot of shadows in photos. They provide a good diversity as well as highlight the subject of your photo. Forming a style is very necessary so you can tell your own story. Over time, your style may adjust to what you've learned and what kind of story you want to tell. This photo is really my style because it has real colors, shadows, and it's at a weird, unique location that you aren't going to see any other photos of. Thank you for joining me for some photography. If you have any thoughts on photography or this video or a future topic you want covered, let me know in the comments.